Right guys, in this video today I'm going to break down what I'm saying in a Spanish class. So I have regular half an hour Spanish classes with a teacher on Preply, and this guy is called Andres, he's from South America, and I'm going to dive straight into it and explain what I'm doing in terms of how I'm thinking and responding to Spanish. So let's get into it. So I'm going to share my screen. And right, let's have a look at this first one now. So let's go play.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? No. Lo que pasa es que, por ejemplo, hay veces que nosotros acortamos las palabras, ¿ok?
So it's like we make the words shorter basically. Acortamos, cortar is like short. So that's what it's saying. Acortamos. And palabras, the word in Spanish like for words. So from that, I'm basically telling you how I'm understanding him, but then how you could understand him despite not knowing every single word. That's the idea.
De España, en ciertas partes de Latinoamérica, que en vez de, no sé, decir...
So no sé decir means decir is infinitive of to say. So no sé decir, so I do not know say. It means I don't know how to say, but is so a lot of it is intonations. You can tell an English person who would say that would say, I don't know how to say it, X, Y, Z. So that gives you an idea of what he's saying. And from that, you can sort of guess, where's he going with this?
Me gustas,
Sí.
me gustas, con S, dice me gusta.
Sí. Swallow the word, like me gusta, yeah, sí.
So because I wanted to tell him or let him know in some way that, yep, I know what you're on about. You mean this, you mean swallow the words, which basically is like some people when speaking Spanish, instead of going like we have tenemos, they go tenemos, or they go tenemos. And they sort of shorten the word. We do that in our native language, but that's what he was talking about. So I was trying to emphasize that to the point. If I was wrong, he'd have told me that, but I want to tell him a bit about, basically I'm saying, this is what I know, or this is what I heard, is this correct? So let's continue.
En este caso es por eso que se entiende o se comprende como que si habláramos rápido.
So you can tell hablamos means we speak, and a rapido is like fast. So you could tell from that. Hablamos rapido in the context of we speak quickly, we shorten our words. I get the meaning behind that. So if you didn't know any Spanish but you understood hablamos for like we speak hablar, which is the infinitive, and then rapido, which means quickly, you can tell what he's on about.
O sea, hablamos normal, solo que eliminamos las palabras.
There we go. So a lot of words are Latin based. So eliminate is one idea, and he put eliminamos. So that means like we get rid of, eliminate, we get rid of. So a lot of words have the same root, so you can guess what it means if it sounds similar to English.
Por ejemplo, otro ejemplo, de nada.
Sí.
Nosotros decimos de nada.
De nada. De nada. Y eso es porque es mucho más difícil para mí cuando escucho a los hablantes nativos. No entiendo casi nada, pero sí, eso es, sí, ¿por qué? Sí, exacto.
So as you can tell, when I'm speaking now, I might say something and I'll go back and say it again. So when you say something in a different language, you don't have to be perfect when you say it. Even in English, I might say, oh, yesterday we was walking the dog. So I might say something wrong, but I might correct myself. So don't be afraid to say something, even if it's not correct. And maybe you remember it after you say it, so you say it again. That's absolutely fine. And also, a lot of what I say has some Italian mixed in with it because Spanish and Italian are super similar. So when I'm speaking Spanish, an Italian word pops into my mind and I say it because it's so similar. But in the context and because they're so close, they're so similar, the words, it's understandable anyway. So just continue.
Exactamente. Y, por ejemplo, muchas palabras se acortan en español y es lo malo, o sea, es muy malo. Por ejemplo, acá, si tú vienes para Latinoamérica y quieres hablar,
Sí.
o sea, normal, pues, normal.
Oh yeah, so that's another difference as well. So in South America, they say acá for like aquí. So yeah, in Spain it's aquí, so it means here. Acá means here as well, but in South America. So I only noticed that when I started speaking on Preply, the platform that I use, with South Americans, when I was like, well, what do you mean? And then they say vos for you. So a few words are a bit different, but it's the same Spanish. It's just like how a Scouser in Liverpool might say something different to someone in Manchester, for example. It's just different words, but based on the context, you sort of get it.
Hablando normal, No, esta es la velocidad que nosotros usamos.
There we go. He says, esta velocidad, and then usamos. So, esta velocidad means esta is like this, and then velocidad sounds like velocity, which means speed. So, this speed, that's what he's on about.
No hablamos tan rápido. No. O sea,
so, he's like an example there, doing a visual representation of no hablamos. So, he's saying we don't speak that quickly. So he isn't one of the people who speaks that quick, but he's describing someone who would do like blah, blah, blah. So he's using that as an example, which is makes it easy to understand if they're using the hand movement, because if it was on a voice call, it'd be harder to connect. So they say a lot of how we communicate is non-verbal, like non-speaking, it's body language, and it's spot on.
Normal. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? ¿Qué tal? Muy bien, me presento, mi nombre es Andrés. Y ves, y a este ritmo al que voy, posiblemente me entiendas completamente todo.
Completamente, which means completely, and then todo means everything. So completely everything. So that's what he's saying. But you can guess the word completely from that.
Sí. Ok. Entonces hablas más lento cuando hay personas nuevas, cuando viajas, por ejemplo, en lugar de con tus amigos. Mucho más corto y rápido, sí.
Exactamente, sí.
And in this as well, everyone has a different way of speaking a different language, but mine is just speak fast, get your point across, and hope that they understand you. And if you're speaking too quick and you don't get understood, you can always go back and try again. But I favour speaking fast with incorrect grammar and making mistakes of pronunciation, because I feel like they can understand me anyway. So just like if there's someone who you think is unable to speak your language, as soon as you know that they can speak a bit quicker or understand you, you naturally go faster because it's more efficient. You want to get more stuff said, basically. So that's what I do. So you'll see I'm speaking quite quickly to get my point across quickly, and I'm making errors, but that's fine because he still gets it, and that's my way of speaking.
Exactamente, pero por ejemplo, con mis amigos yo hablo de esta manera, a esta velocidad con la que tú me estás escuchando. Ahora, cuando tengo estudiantes que apenas van empezando a hablar.
Esta velocidad means this speed, so he's saying when I'm speaking with my friends, that's his example.
Sí. Okay.
Pero contigo,
you might have heard from many Spanish songs around the world, contigo, which means with you. So he's talking about how he's speaking with myself.
Sí. Contigo es normal porque sé que tienes la capacidad y la habilidad de entenderme y de comprenderme.
So what he's saying is you have the capacity to understand me, basically, to entenderme, comprender. So entender, like no entiendo is I don't understand, and comprehend, do you comprehend something is comprender. And that's a similar word in Spanish. So yeah, basically saying you have the capacity, la capacidad, very similar to English, capacity, capacidad, English, Spanish, and basically connect those words and you get that.
Sí, sí. Muy bien. Sí, y también una cosa es que tengo un amigo de Valencia, pero él tiene amigos de Málaga y Andalucía, y ahí el acento es mucho más fuerte. Y no entiendo solo 20% de lo que están diciendo, y es muy difícil para mí, sí.
That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do more of these videos so that you can get an idea of what I'm saying. And the point is, you can, despite making errors, you can still be understood. And as long as you're understood by native speakers, that's the main thing. And if you practice, even if you're nervous and you're a bit sort of shaky about it or anxious, you get more, basically, you get more, what's it called? You get more used to it as you practice, and you get less stress, basically. That's what happens. You get more forgiving of your own mistakes, and that's the idea. And you can only get better by being bad for a long period of time, then you gradually get better over time. Same with fitness, same with anything. But yeah, that's how I break down how to communicate with a native speaker despite not knowing everything they're saying back to you. And if you can pick up keywords and guess things based on the context and use common sense to work out what could they be saying here, what's the line of conversation that I predict they're going to say, and go from there.